Have you ever poured your soul into something? Studying late, training hard, showing up day after day, only to feel like you're standing still. You look around and see everyone else sprinting ahead while your life feels stuck. It's exhausting to keep watering a dream that shows no sign of life. Doubt starts to creep in. Maybe I'm not talented enough. Maybe I picked the wrong path. Maybe the silence is a sign to quit.
But what if that silence isn't a dead end? What if it's just a season? What if the quiet months, the hidden work, and the lonely consistency are building something you can't see yet? Today's story is about a farmer, a field, and a seed that refuses to show itself until the day it rises with a speed and strength that shocks everyone who once laughed. This isn't just a story about plants. It's a mirror for every goal you've ever nurtured in the dark. Stay with me until the end. The lesson of the bamboo tree might change how you measure progress, how you interpret delay, and how you value the unseen foundations of your future. Because sometimes growth isn't absent, it's undercover. And often the roots you build in silence are the very reason you'll stand tall when the storm finally hits. Long ago, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills, lived a humble farmer named Liang. His hands were rough from years of labor, but his heart held a quiet dream. Unlike the other villagers who planted rice or wheat for a quick harvest, Liang carried a few small bamboo seeds in his pocket. To anyone else, they looked ordinary, even worthless. But Liang believed that with enough care, these tiny seeds could become something extraordinary. One bright spring morning, he pressed them into the soil. Every day after, he carried heavy buckets of water from the river, pouring them gently over that patch of earth. He pulled every weed and protected the ground from wandering animals. For months, he waited. When nothing happened, he whispered to the soil, "Grow strong. I won't give up on you."
A year passed. The earth remained bare. His neighbors laughed as they harvested their rice and wheat. "Liang," they teased, "you're watering an empty field. You're wasting your sweat on dirt."
Another year slipped by. Then another. 4 years. 5 years. Still, not a single green shoot broke through the surface. Doubt began to whisper in Liang's own heart. At night, he stared at the barren patch, wondering if he'd been a fool. Was his dream just a fantasy? Yet every morning he rose with the same determination, shoulders heavy with water, heart heavy with faith. Even though the ground gave him nothing to see, Liang chose to believe that something was happening beneath the surface. Deep in the dark soil, life was preparing for a moment no one could yet imagine. One late afternoon, an old traveler passed through the village. His hair was silver and his steps were slow, but his eyes were bright with wisdom. He watched Liang watering the empty land. Curious, he stopped and asked, "Young man, why do you spend your days on soil that shows you nothing? You've worked here for 5 years with no harvest. Why not plant something that rewards you sooner?" Liang wiped the sweat from his brow. "I know it looks foolish," he admitted softly. "Others laugh, and sometimes I wonder if they're right. But deep down, I feel something is happening. Growth takes time, and not all growth is visible." The traveler smiled gently. He crouched down, touched the soil, and whispered, as if speaking to the earth itself. Then he looked at Liang. "You're right to believe. Life has its seasons. Some seeds sprout quickly and wither just as fast. Others stay hidden, building strength where no one can see, until one day they rise with unstoppable power." Liang listened, the words sinking into his tired heart. For years he'd carried his faith alone. Hearing it validated by this wise stranger made his spirit feel lighter. The traveler placed a hand on his shoulder. "Do not lose heart. Keep watering. What grows unseen may one day grow beyond all measure." As the old man walked away, Liang stood a little taller. His doubt didn't vanish, but his hope burned steadier. Days turned into weeks, and years rolled on like a river. Every morning, the river, the buckets, the aching shoulders, the blistered hands.
Every comment felt like a seed of doubt trying to root in Liang's mind. At night, he'd ask, "What if they're right? What if I've wasted my best years on a dream that will never show up?" There were mornings he wanted to leave the buckets behind and take the easy road. But then he'd remember, what grows unseen may one day grow unstoppable. Those words were his lantern in the dark.
Year 5 arrived. Liang was older now, his hair flecked with gray, and still nothing. The ridicule reached a fever pitch. In 5 years, he could have built a house or bought livestock. Instead, he watered dirt. The laughter cut deeper than any blade. Yet, Liang kept going. His faith was no longer loud or fiery. It had become quiet and steady, like a heartbeat. Then, one spring morning at dawn, Liang saw it. The soil showed the tiniest crack. From it pushed a fragile green shoot, no taller than his thumb. Liang fell to his knees, tears in his eyes. After 5 years of emptiness, life had finally revealed itself. And then something incredible happened. Within a week, the shoot doubled in height. Within a month, it towered over his head. The villagers gathered in shock as the bamboo surged skyward, 3 meters, 10, 20. In just 6 weeks, the once barren field became a towering forest of bamboo, so strong that even the wind bent in respect. Those who mocked him now stood in awe. "How is this possible?" they asked. "How can something invisible for years grow so tall so fast?" But Liang understood. He knew that during those 5 silent years, the bamboo hadn't been idle. Beneath the ground, it had been weaving a massive network of roots, spreading deep and wide to anchor itself. What the eye couldn't see, time had been preparing. Only when the roots were strong enough could the shoots reach for the sky. As Liang stood in the shade of his forest, the laughter of the past no longer stung. It was replaced by the music of wind through the leaves. His struggle hadn't been empty. Every drop of water and every night of doubt had been building toward this. His neighbors saw sudden growth, but Liang knew the truth. It wasn't sudden at all. It was the slowest, deepest work of all, the kind that happens when no one is watching. The bamboo became a living lesson for the village. Liang told them, the years that looked empty were not wasted. Growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides, preparing for a strength that lasts. His words echoed because everyone carries a dream that feels buried. The lesson of the bamboo is the lesson of life. When you study and feel you've learned nothing, when you practice and stumble, when you work without results, remember the bamboo. What looks like nothing is often the deepest kind of preparation. So if you're in a season of waiting, if your field looks bare and people doubt your path, do not despair. Keep watering, keep tending, keep believing. Your roots are growing strong, and when the moment is right, you will rise. If this story touched you, share it with someone who's in their own season of waiting. Remind them that unseen effort is never wasted. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment about the lesson you're taking away today. And most importantly, subscribe to Inspire Through Stories so you don't miss our next tale of hope and courage.